Welcome back to the Empowered Woman Podcast, the #1 show on personal growth, visibility, and profit for women entrepreneurs. If you're wanting to start believing in yourself, giving yourself permission to succeed, and let your voice be heard to make an impact in the world as an entrepreneur, this is the place for you. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Marta Spurk, and I'm your host, triplet mom, woman empowerment coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode. Last year for me had so many themes of understanding fear and releasing fear. And it really all started as I started reading Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. So if you haven't come across that title, or if you haven't read it, I highly encourage you to give it a try sometime this year. It helped me so much, especially around the idea that whenever you are feeling fearful, you're really not in alignment with God. You're really not in alignment with your purpose. Because when there is an element of fear, there's an element of separation from what's meant for you. And especially when you're talking about, fulfilling your purpose and God's purpose. Hi, Melanie. Good to see you. So, and understanding more about fear is what made me want to decide to choose the word fearless for 2023. And I know I have stepped out in faith and overcome so many of my fears throughout the years, but it became clear to me, especially towards the end of the year, that I still hold myself back, that there's so much more for me to still do. And, but in order for me to do that, I need to be able to do things that scare me. And there's lots of things that still scare me. And so that's why, my word for 2023 is fearless. But one thing that's been coming up a lot for me as I'm talking more about feeling empowered to be seen, increasing your visibility, stepping out, allowing people to know who you are, and all of that, is that many women have a hard time putting themselves out there, even if they want to be seen. So they have this desire, but they're still holding themselves back. And a couple things happened this past week that made me ultimately decide to add some human design in my upcoming workshop that's happening next Wednesday. And the reason why, everything's so meta with me, and the reason that is because I have been feeling fearful of adding human design to my work. For so many different reasons, but one of them being imposter syndrome, right? I'm not an expert, and I know all of these things. Like, you don't start off as an expert. All the things that I talk to my clients about, that I coach my clients with, I struggle with myself as well. And so, in order for me to support women overcoming their fears of being seen and being rejected and being judged, I need to step up and lead by example and do things that scare me. That's the whole purpose of this year for me, and really my message of empowerment. And so I realized I had planned on adding human design to my workshop this month, and then I decided not to, and now I'm back. I'm back on track. And so it all came to me as to how I'm going to do this because of the women that have expressed to me, I want to be visible, but now it's not the time. I'm not ready. Many of them have said that. I'm not ready yet. I know this is in my future. This is just not the time. And I understand timing, but there's a lot of, using timing as an excuse for not starting. It doesn't mean that you have to reach the top tomorrow, because then you put your pressure on yourself. But then there's an element of fear, right? You saying you're not ready is like a cop-out, because in reality, we're never ready. And I will use myself as an example. Do you think I was ready to become a triplet mom? And for any moms out there, well, you can never be ready to be a mom, right? You can try to choose the time, but you're never really ready to become a mom. And in my case, how are you going to be prepared to become a triplet mom? You don't. That's just not a thing. You learn on the job. And pretty much, life is learned on the job, my friend. So for all of you women who have wanted more visibility but have felt like you're not ready, this is my message for you. I want you to challenge that and challenge the fear behind that, whether it be perfectionism, I need to do all these things first so that I'm prepared. Whether it be imposter syndrome, I am not good enough yet, which is very, connected to perfectionism. And I want you to challenge that through the eyes of fear and understand that putting yourself out there is what it takes for you to realize your dream of serving more people and growing your business, right? People need to know you exist to be able to connect with you. They need to know what you have to offer to realize that they need it. And that requires you stepping out. So I decided that I'm going to add an element of human design to my workshop coming up next week. So I highly encourage you to come and join. If being visible is a desire of yours, but you still know that you're holding yourself back, I am going to be sharing how you can, at a glimpse, look at your chart and see how you can encourage yourself. Hi, Felicia. So human design, for those of you who are sort of familiar, is based on your birth information, right? And so although there's lots of room for interpretation, it's pretty dead set, like this is your design. And at times I've struggled with it, especially coming from a faith background. I say this all the time. But what I have coached myself through in terms of this framework is that regardless of what it says, the benefits that I see is helping you focus your energy on certain things. Focus your attention on certain things to increase your self-awareness. So even if you input your birth time wrong, even if your birth certificate wasn't right, even if you don't know your birth time, because there's lots of people out there who don't know that, I believe it's still extremely valuable to help you with some guidelines to increase awareness about yourself. And so what I'm going to be teaching, what I'm going to be talking about in more detail, hi Serena, in more detail in my workshop coming up next week, which is on Wednesday, by the way, but I'll share more details in a minute, is looking at your centers. So you can go down the rabbit hole of human design real fast and then get frustrated. So that's what I experience a lot of times. I get super engrossed in studying things like this, and then all of a sudden I feel overwhelmed because it's like, how do I apply this information practically in my everyday life? Because it's cool to know all of these different things, but how do I use this for decision making, right? How do I use this in times when I feel challenged? How do I use this when I feel afraid and don't know what my next step is, when I feel stuck, right? So there are several different ways for you to look at your human design to help you with these questions. But one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on at the workshop next week is looking at your centers and understanding your strengths within those centers so that you can lean on those when you're feeling weak, when you're feeling afraid, when you're feeling scared, right? And I will just share an example that really was a catalyst for this conversation and me deciding to add this to the workshop next week. So you may have seen that I was on the cover of the She Corporated magazine for January's issue. This is my third time contributing to the magazine, the second time on the cover. And I know the person behind the magazine. She asked me personally to be featured in her launch last year. I know the process to be featured. I recommend her to all of my clients. To me, it's a very easy and simple process. I don't know of anyone in my circle that has applied and not being able to be featured. In fact, when I asked her, what do I do to be on the cover? Her response was, if you have really good high resolution images, I can get you on the cover. And that's how I got on the cover. It wasn't magic, right? I didn't have to win an Oscar to be on the cover, okay? And these are the little things that I take for granted because I am so good at asking. I have said my motto in life is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That is me, friends. I know that if I want something, I need to ask for it. I need to speak up. I need to take steps. And hello, this is part of my design. And for some people, this doesn't come as naturally because they have other gifts that I don't have, right? But that's easy for me because it's who I am. But some people who are not like that, that's not easy for them. So these are the very things that human design helps you pay attention to so that you're like, oh my gosh, this is not just a mundane characteristic that I have. This is part of the design that I'm here to live. This is part of the design that I'm here to showcase and express, to help other people, to serve, right? And so in understanding this about myself, so this happened with the magazine, and then somebody found me. Well, she saw my article, she found me on social media, she messaged me, and she said, one day maybe I will be featured in the magazine. Well, maybe not this year, it's too big. And my instant reaction was, but why? I was so curious. Like, if you want this, and me knowing the behind the scenes of how pretty easy, dare I say, and I hope my friend from the magazine is not going to be mad that I say this, but I mean, she messaged me late last year, she emailed me, and she said, we need more contributors. Can you please share with your network? So they're actively looking for more people. So it's not like there's a freaking wait list of years. So I was very curious, and I asked her, this woman, I said, why, I'm curious, why are you saying not right now? Is it because you're busy, so you don't have time to write the article? Mind you, it's like a 500-word article, so it's nothing too monumental. And she said, well, yes, there's that. But if I'm being honest, I guess I don't feel like I'm good enough. And that stopped me in my tracks. Because here I am sharing this magazine and with my clients, and not all of them have stepped up to the plate to submit this. And now I see that the reason that is, yes, it could be because they're not good writers. Yes, it could be because they're, busy. But truly, it's a fear. It's a fear that it's not going to be good enough. It's a fear that if you pitch, they're not going to accept you. And how many times in life do we approach situations that way with other things? Especially for the ones that are harder, that are more competitive, that you are probably going to get rejected the first, the second, and the third time, right? Some people don't even try. Another thing that's happened with one of my clients is I shared that I got Manifestation Babe scholarship for the Manifestation Babe Academy last year. And one of my clients said, I saw that there was the application. She fit the criteria to apply, and she didn't. And in my mind, it's like, why wouldn't you just freaking fill out the form? What have you got to lose? But see, not everybody operates the same way that I do. So I feel it is my responsibility, friend, to come out here and tell you that if you are not taking up opportunities, then that is fear, right? Opportunities are knocking at your door all of the time. And if you are not taking up on them, it is out of fear. It is out of fear. If it's something that you desire, right? Obviously, if it's out of alignment, that's one thing. But if it's something you desire and you're not stepping up to it, and you're thinking you're not good enough, then that's fear. And so the way that you can look at this in your human design, there are several different ways. You can go down the rabbit hole of the gates and all the different things. But something simple that anybody can do, regardless of their knowledge level of human design, is literally getting your chart, and you can go to geneticmatrix.com to do that. That's the website that I feel is the most detailed, accurate, and I just love the layout and everything that they have. Get your chart and take a look at the chart and take a look at your centers. They're going to give you so much insight. So what I'm going to be walking you through in my workshop next week is to help you see which of your centers are defined and to look for your strengths within those centers. And almost create little mantras or affirmations for yourself for those moments of fear. For those moments when you are feeling stuck and you don't know what your next step is, or when you know the next step and you're just avoiding it. And leaning in that defined energy, because defined energy means it's consistent, it's something that comes naturally easy for you. You were just born with that predisposition, and it's just something that's in it to you. Just like for me, it is in it for me to want to ask for the things that I want, to be unapologetic about my desires. For the most part, not everything, obviously. That's why it's a journey, right, of overcoming fears. But that, to me, comes more naturally. And I attribute a lot of that to my defined ego center or heart center, right? So 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, the ladies that struggle with going for what they want on a little bit of a larger scale than what they're already used to have probably undefined ego centers. So let's focus on the other areas to pull that strength and to encourage yourself, because I'm all about self-empowerment, right? And empower and encourage yourself through those fears. And the reason why I'm talking about all of this is because the workshop next week that I'm going to be doing, so let me get into the details. It's called Speaking into 2023. So it's really, stepping into this speaker role for yourself and for your business and to spread your message. And but it is a signature talk workshop. So I'm going to be doing a very similar format to what I did in person here in Denver last month, in which 4 of my clients present their 10-minute talk. So we crafted a talk together. It's sort of like a TEDx style. And it's so on point. It's so impactful. It's so incredible. And what's so amazing about these talks is that it really sets them up to then creating more powerful marketing content. To then, just speaking more boldly about their message, because it's so refined and it's so focused. Because especially it's 10 minutes long. Right? When you have less time, you have to be more specific and you have to be more to the point. And so that's what we're doing with these 10 minutes. And it's going to be amazing. So 4 of them are going to present to role model to you what your talk should be sounding like. And I will be teaching you all of the steps to outline it the way that they did. But they're going to be examples for you to see, this is what they did in here in this step. This is what they did in this other step. To start giving you some ideas of what yours could look like. I am a role model, so something else about human design. I'm a role model hermit. I am a 6'2", and there's a lot of teacher in me in so many different ways, right? And so I love giving practical examples and illustrations because this is how we learn best. And so I'm bringing in my clients, so it's just so many wins in one. They get the exposure, they get the practice. I get to showcase the work that I do. Besides just having a slide on my presentation that gives me a testimonial from a client, or that gives you a testimonial from one of my clients, you are seeing the final product. Right? And you get to be maybe someone that presents in my next workshop. In fact, one of the ladies that's speaking in this next workshop was an attendee of the last one. So that's how she came to then create. And I've been telling her, I was like, oh my gosh, how far you've come in 1 month since you attended the workshop. And now we're crafting your talk and you're going to present it. I'm so proud of her. She's doing amazing. So that said, my 4 speakers are incredible. I'll talk about them in a minute. So this is what we're doing in the workshop. I will be helping you craft the talk. I will be showing you examples, and then I will be showing you in detail how to look at your defined centers in your human design chart and lean on that to overcome fear and to really step out into this empowered version of yourself that allows herself to be seen, to really impact the world with your message. So if you're interested in that, I'd love for you to come. It's going to be January 11th, so that's a Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. We go for 2 hours from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is going to be recorded. So the caveat here is that if you purchase your ticket and save your seat before we go live, the rate is $57. If you purchase it as evergreen, it's going to go up in $97. So regardless if you can come on live or not, secure the $57 rate by purchasing your ticket before the 11th, okay? Now let me talk about my incredible speakers. So I don't know the order that we're going to do that yet. I'm still deciding, but let me start with Cheryl Mitchell. She's an amazing formula alchemist, and she's also a business coach, and we worked on her talk, and it's so impactful for business owners. She's going to be talking about how to really own your authenticity. Stop looking outside yourself to create your business, looking outside yourself to find trends to follow, but really follow your heart and march by the beat of your own drum. I love, love, love the message that she has with that. So she's going to be presenting her talk on that. My other speaker is Elizabeth Denezeau. She is a equine gestalt coach. So she works with horses to facilitate breakthroughs for people. And that's the core of her talk. She's going to be talking about how to learn to dance in life with a horse, right? How to learn from a horse several different lessons so that you're really fully enjoying life and being yourself. And then we have Vonnie Kalik, who is a health coach, and she'll be talking about how to not wait for a wake-up call in your health to wake up. Wake up before the wake-up call. Wake up before you have serious health challenges. That's usually human nature, right? We only wake up when we're rock bottom, when we're going through something hard. So she's going to be talking about that and giving you steps to prevent that, to wake up before that. And then last but not least, I have Vita Lagala. She's a law of attraction coach, and she's going to be talking about how to really center yourself and use mindfulness with 30-second breathing exercises. So all it takes is 30 seconds throughout your day to change your life. And she's going to talk about that as well, and give you specific steps on how to get to that. So I'm super excited. It's going to be amazing. Like I said, lots of value. So you're going to get the examples. You're going to walk away with an outline of your talk, and you're going to learn how to overcome any kind of blocks that you may feel as you're crafting your talk, or as you're applying to speak at places, or as you're accepting invitations to speak at places. Anytime those fears come running in, come sneaking in, you're going to be able to lean into those strengths that are natural to you based on your human design, and really encourage yourself to move past all of those. So I hope you get to join us next Wednesday. I will put the link in the show notes, and I'm so excited for all of it. Let me know if you have any questions, if you already know what your defined centers are, if you already know how to lean on those strengths, or if you have any questions in terms of human design as well. I will be creating more content. So help me God, I will overcome this fear, really lead by example and role model what it's like to do things and do them afraid, because that's how it goes. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this encouraged you to overcome your fears and to come to my next workshop, Speaking into 2023, happening Wednesday, January 11th at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Like I said, if you can't make it live, there will be a replay, and you do want to save your seat ahead of time to save $40. So go to the link in the show notes. Until next time, bye.